Joyce and I are members of Brightons Parish Church, and Brightons is a village just south of Walker. We're going to tell you about our experiences of church, Joyce from the point of view of someone with a learning disability, and I'll tell you how I think our church benefits from having those with learning disabilities as part of our church family. You attend church, Joyce, every Sunday. What do you enjoy about church?
I've made a lot of friends since I came to Brightons, and I enjoy listening to the minister and meeting friends and listening to the Bible and praying, and I go to a prayer meeting with somebody else as well, and yeah, it's good.
Thanks, Joyce. Now, you take part in other areas of church life, Joyce. What are those?
I used to be involved in the hymn numbers, but I retired. Friends of Jesus. We go to Friends of Jesus as a group for learning disabilities in the Reading Church and down past Brightons, and we meet there every second Thursday. When it's the winter time,
Now, you've made many friends in church, Joyce. Would you like to tell us some of their names and what you do with those friends?
Anne and I and another friend, we've been out for afternoon tea places a couple of times. I've met a lot of friends in the church and got on well with them.
You do? What do you learn when you go to church, Joyce?
I learn about the Bible and praying, and I like listening to the minister and
You learn about Jesus?
learn about Jesus.
Now, you mentioned Friends of Jesus earlier, Joyce. What exactly is Friends of Jesus?
It's a group for learning disabilities held in the Reading Church Hall down past Brightons, and we meet once a fortnight on a Thursday, and we do drama, arts and crafts. I get a shot of praying and reading the Bible. We sing, we play instruments. We do lots of things.
And what are your favourite bits about that, Friends of Jesus, Joyce? What are your favourite
I
things?
like most things, I like it all.
That's good. Now, you've made more friends and Friends of Jesus, is that right?
Yeah.
Who are they?
Well, Kathy and Bobby's quite new. They're just recently started coming, and Shona's mum and dad.
Good. Would you say that you've grown in faith and knowing about Jesus, Joyce, by going to Friends of Jesus?
Yeah, I've came, understood things a lot better, and
Excellent, that's excellent. Now, you've grown in confidence too, Joyce. Would you like to tell us how that happened?
Well, in the recent 3 years, I've been with Anne and mother friend, 3 years going round different guilds, telling them about Friends of Jesus prospects, and I've enjoyed that.
That's great, you're doing that very well. Lastly, Joyce, how might the church or Friends of Jesus be made better, do you think?
I'm quite happy the way things are. Yeah.
Thank you for giving us your thoughts about your faith in Jesus, Joyce.
Now it's my chance to interview you. How does the whole church benefit by having people with learning disabilities coming to church? Anne?
Well, the church benefits tremendously in many ways, Joyce. Inclusivity brings out warm, caring tenderness in other church goers. Friendliness and fellowship result. And to enable those with learning disabilities to know what's going to happen next, the screens show symbols as well as words. This helps non-readers. It also helps many others in the congregation. For example, the deaf and hard of hearing, like me, those whose sight is failing, and those with dementia. Churches also benefit from joyous worship, as we had this morning with Graham. Smiles, happiness, clapping, swaying to the music, percussion instruments, dancing. After all, didn't King David dance before the Lord? The Bible has advice for us. In the Old Testament, 1 Samuel 16 verse 7 says, "The Lord does not look at the things man looks at. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." And in the New Testament, Jesus says in John 6 verse 37, "All that the Father gives me will come to me, and whoever comes to me, I will never drive away." Any other questions, Joyce?
No, I can't think of by heart.
You've got another few.
How does the church benefit by having a group like Friends of Jesus and
The church benefits, Joyce, because those with learning disabilities are brought to the Lord. It's not only those with learning disabilities who are hearing about Jesus in our Friends of Jesus group, but the helpers, the parents, the carers who also attend. These people may never have heard about Jesus before. In addition, the spread of the gospel is made even wider through the links with care homes, sheltered accommodation, and those living with their parents. In groups like Friends of Jesus, the biblical truths are presented by methods that are not always practical for every Sunday service. So having a group means regular services can continue, with perhaps a monthly accessible service for those with learning disabilities. Also, a group for those with learning disabilities to learn about the Lord is a fellowship group, just like any other fellowship group in the church. So as well as the deeper spiritual needs of all being met, friendships are forged and maintained. Peter has a message for us in 1 Peter 3 verse 8. Finally, all of you, live in harmony with one another. Be sympathetic. Love as brothers. Be compassionate and humble.
Thank you all for giving us the chance to tell you how we think church is enriched by including people with learning disabilities like that.